we almost got this piece done. One thing I'm going to just talk about here is I'm not going to brush this like really thin. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on kind of thick, and I'm gonna kind of stipple the top. I want texture on there, so there's baking soda, baby powder, and sand in this as texture. Okay, so I'm gonna like put it on kind of thick, especially on the top. Sides are going to be okay anyway, but the top's going to take a little more wear, so I want a little bit thicker. But we've kind of, we've just dabbed that. When I do paint this here, I want this to be white. I'm going to actually paint that white with Mod Podge, and that's going to make painting here. This is one thing that I did. The edges kind of are like have some drywall, so if you want, you give it a little scrape, just so they're going to fit flush. If you want to use a sanding block, sometimes you can just kind of break the little pieces off. But we're going to get started. Since this is kind of flaky, the drywall compound, we're going to add Mod Podge to pretty much everything anyway. So I'm going to add a little bit of Mod Podge. I'm going to add my yellow paint. I'm mostly going to have paint and a little bit of Mod Podge. Well, like maybe 60, 70, 40. Mostly paint. Definitely got a fair bit of Mod Podge in there. But that's going to help it keep from being flaky and breaking off. It's going to give it some good protection. So yeah, just going to mix that up good. And then I'm going to start. I don't really care, you know, about being messy with this. If a little bit goes on some of the black, totally fine. Because I'm going to repaint the black anyways. It's going to get some brown. I like putting these garbage bags down. It's just kind of not worried about any of the mess. And you can see some of the black underneath the yellow. So I'm going to hit that twice anyway. What you could do here, if you want it, you could go with a white paint and then hit the yellow. To me, I'm just gonna do it a second time around the edges later on. So we're gonna get all this here. I do have some different smaller brushes if I need to get inside. Hopefully you can kind of see where we're getting. I just work up. I don't really care if a little bit goes on there. I mean, you can see already just with the yellow and the black kind of how that's gonna look together. Then we're gonna get some red and orange in there after. But for now, that's kind of that's gonna be the theme. Like I said, I've never made these before. I just kind of made it up. I looked at some of what people did. I didn't really see anybody use drywall compound. When I painted the black here, I really tried to get to overpaint onto the drywall compound. That's going to help stick the foam again to this. So yeah, so that's it. Like I said, if as we just going to go over painting some of the orange here. I did put a second coat in around the edges there, so you can't really see it that well. I'm just going to kind of give this kind of a heavy dry brush. Nothing too crazy. The good thing about the paint jobs is if you don't like it, just do it again. It's not a big deal. I usually try to dampen it off a little bit, get some of the heavy paint off, but you can kind of see I just start off light, and then just go harder and harder if you want more paint on there. And sometimes I'll go over it again with the yellow, some light yellow if I find I put too much orange. Finish with red. There's several ways people paint this. Some people start with a red, then they go orange and yellow. I would say that's the minority that paint it that way. Both look really good. So I don't know if there's a way you should do it or shouldn't do it. I got used to doing yellow, orange, red. So that's probably why I do it, because probably when I first watched some videos, see that's a little heavy there now. So I might touch that up later with some yellow, or I'll hit it good with the red. It's okay if there's no yellow in behind. I don't care if I splash up on the rocks a little bit. That's going to get repainted anyway, and it's good that there's some coming up there, because most of it I'm not going to go in and paint that again with the black, so I'll just let it go. Just try to get one on camera there so that you can kind of see. Again, I'm not going to be too picky with it, but try to get I just don't want any like big like that. I'm not happy with that, but if I put some red in there and maybe some more yellow, I'll kind of hide that, but I don't want too much yellow. Just don't want big blotchy areas, right? Want a little bit of everything, so that's looking pretty good now. I'll do that a little bit. And again, there's different things you can do. You can, people, sometimes they put the yellow on before it's dry, they put the orange. So the yellow's done, the orange is done. We're gonna go with the red. So sometimes when I'm doing this, just so I don't get big blobs, I'll just kind of tap that lightly, just so I don't get a whole lot of big blobs. You want it to be dark and not spread too thin, just so that like the red's going to show through. I got some cool ideas for the end of this, because this is going to get hit with a black over top of the lava. And then I'm going to go back in later, almost like look like lightning, but with the yellow, and just make a bunch of lines, like kind of like the hot spots coming through, because the yellow kind of represents it being hot. So I'm just doing a light dry brush with this. I try to see which way the texture's going. Try to hit over that, so I don't want to go down into all of the yellow. I just want to try to hit some high spots, right? So the yellow remains, and then I kind of hit the side of the rocks. I'm going to go over the black anyways, and then it's going to get like some light brown, orange on it. So yeah, I'm just trying to try not to put it on too heavy. You can see a little spot like that, it's a little heavy, but that's fine. That's going to get covered with either some black, or part of it will get covered with the black, or I'll hit it with yellow, like straight lines. Kind of think of like lightning coming out. That's going to be probably the last little bit I do. Again, with this here stuff, I've not made this before, so half of this is an experiment. You're going to mess stuff up. It's totally fine. I wasn't happy about some of these. I felt like these were kind of separating a little bit. They didn't stick very well, some of them. So once I put that other coat of Mod Podge with yellow paint, they actually stuck really well. And then when I get a few more levels on there of Mod Podge, and probably hit it with Varathane, it's going to be really nice. So I'm going to come back in, I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to go back in the house and do the other 16 or 18 that I have, whatever it is. This one I didn't finish yet. Again, I'm doing them all in different stage. I'm just showing you one completed version. So now we're gonna add the black. I like doing this with a sponge. It's pretty fast. Anytime I use a sponge, I soak the sponge, I drain all the water out of it that I can, and it just it's going to make the sponge work that much better when you're applying this stuff. With this sponge, I'm barely going to touch, and as I get going, or if I'm doing multiple, I press harder and harder because I'm running out of paint. But I just want to barely touch. Also, I cut the sponge so that, like, if I was doing something, this doesn't matter because that's black. But it's going to help me get in a little better around all these, around the rocks. So that's all I'm going to do. That's it. Some light sponging. You don't have to hit every spot. You can leave some other spots bright. I like getting close to the rocks. Yeah, that's all it's going to be. Just barely touching. That can be done. What happens is we end up doing more and more, and then it ends up pretty black. The rest of them are done. They're in the house. This is the last one. So what I'm going to do next is I'll paint these black. Then they're going to get some kind of brown or like a burnt orange or something. I got to figure out what I'm going to do for the final touch. I definitely poured way too much paint just for that little spot. But yeah, that's it. So they're getting very close to being done. So now I'm going to repaint these black. Sometimes you get like a little bit of pink showing through, or you get some yellow on there. I'm going to go in and do the edges here just to darken them up. I'm not going to go all the way down. I want some of the over, like the orange and the red and yellow. I want some of that to splash up on the rocks. So I'm just going to come up a little bit so that you can see some of that. So I'm going to paint the edges first. That gives me something to hold on to at the top. If I paint this first, then it's going to be hard. I'll do that last. And that just comes with experience. So yeah, you see some white there, whatever. I'm just going to, if you wanted to, you could go black paint and Mod Podge again. And that will like make it a little bit stronger, a little more durable. When this is, but it's going to make it less black. When this is all done, I'm going to go over it again with Mod Podge anyway, and maybe even a splash of Varathane. I want to give some kind of shiny look down here, so you can get gloss, Mod Podge. Yeah, I'm just going around some of the. It's going to help, like this black. I like to use that. That way, if I use the Mod Podge, it's going to make that not as dark, from my experience anyway. It's going to mute it a little bit. So again, I'm going to get in these little spots. Just going to paint all this. I don't think I need to put that all on video. I think I'm just going to finish this part and then I'm going to shut it off. But obviously I'm going to paint the top, sides, and then I'm going to do these two. This one's called Cinnamon Sticks. It's just like a brown. This is what we're going to use for the dry brush. So yeah, Cinnamon Sticks. If you want, you can just pound it out on the plate. And all we're going to do is go around, and it's going to just create a little bit of, oh, that brush is too wet. See that already. So we'll dry that up really nice. Come back in. If the brown's not going on, you can see how it's wet there. That's why we're fixing that. So all I'm going to do is just put a bunch of brown. Kind of like this color because it looks kind of orange a little bit. So it's going to definitely blend in with the lava. I'm going to put this over top also. And then leave, you know, the dark spots. Again, I'm just going to just a nice little dry brush. And if you want, you can go in with them. You know, you can put 2 or 3 different browns on this. You can throw some orange in there. I'm probably just going to do the one. Again, start really light and then work it in harder as you got less paint on the brush. I want to get the edges really well. So you can see, like, just kind of make sure you hit the edges really good. It's really going to make them pop. I'm not worried about this backside because that's going to butt up to other stuff. And the edges here, like, you know, hit a little bit of that. Just going to make that pop a little bit better. See how that's kind of plain? There we go. And you can drag it from the edge if you want, or you can work out. Either way. Oh, a little more on the top. Not happy with that. It's a little too black. There we go. A little more brown. Just going to make it look really dirty. I'm going to paint the red. So we've completed our lava boards. Yeah, so there's 12 on the inside. There's 5 extras that I can change out. It's modular, obviously. That's kind of why I build this stuff. I have a whole other set that can go with this, which at the end of the video, or I'll probably do a little video here also showing some of the other stuff, but like this is obviously modular. Those one with the flat edges, they're for the end of the table, but this one, you know, it's kind of flat there, but if I want, I can flip this one around. It's the only one that I kind of split in half, but it just gives you something different if you want, or you can put it together this way. Yeah, so that's kind of the look at it right now. We'll do some shots of it, but yeah, you can move it around. You can take these ones out. Obviously, if I don't want those, maybe I'll just do it now and go through some of what I have here. So I can add these ones in. Take these ones out. I do like the idea of having bigger modular ones, and again, these stack really well. That's why there's 2 on this side. If that wasn't there, then when you store them, they're not going to store well, right? One thing that's probably not on video, well, I didn't do it. This has gloss Mod Podge. This will get matte. And I didn't put the, it's called cinnamon sticks, the dry brush for the brown that you can see. You can't, I didn't record either one of those. So, yeah, I can put some of these down. And then I have a whole other set that goes with all of this that's also completely modular. So I can bring this in. This one here, this actually lights up. You probably can't see it because the light's on. But yeah, I usually take the batteries out because they don't last too long. But yeah, these are ones I built these long ago. I do really like them. We have a little archway. I have a whole bin, like, I'll take a picture of it and put it in the video, but there's all kinds of different pieces. Up in my loft, I have a massive volcano, which I'll probably take out tomorrow, and I'll put that there. Then we have a couple of these that are exploding up, so you can put these wherever. It's all, like I said, it's all modular, so then you have, if you want to get some cover for some of them, you can put those down, or put this over here. You got little bridges if you want to get across. I have these here, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set some stuff up. Here's some of the extra stuff that I have. I don't know, I have a bunch of these. That one's just a plain one. It's extra rocks, volcanoes. all kinds of light systems for the volcanoes, and yeah, there's lots of extra pieces here. I am going to do another video. I've decided I'm going to probably set up on the whole top of my table and go through everything. Hopefully you liked the video. If you know anybody else that's going to make a lava board or lava terrain, however they're going to do it, send them the video if it helps. If they can steal a couple ideas. Everything that I've done here, I begged, borrowed, and stole off everyone else. So I'd really appreciate it if you like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below and keep rolling those nat 20s.